Hey folks, just thought it might be helpful to you um, to go over the research paper and also have something you kind of view again in order to refresh or remind yourself on anything that you need for the paper. So here we go. If you look here on Google Classroom, right at the top, books, materials, etc., you should see Senior MLA Research Paper with two attachments, the template and the assignment itself. We're going to focus first on the assignment. So everything you need is here. I know it looks long and maybe a little intimidating, but that's because there's just a lot of information to support your research and writing. So the task itself is to write an MLA research paper. There is linked here a sample paper from OWL Purdue that also has annotations explaining all formatting and structure requirements for an MLA paper. So you can kind of use this as a guide, scroll through it, read through, right? Look at the annotations and give yourself the opportunity to know what it should look like before actually creating the thing. Now, yours is going to be a little less complex than the sample. You'll notice in the sample there are block quotes and then basically every possible permutation of what could happen in a research paper. Yours is going to be a little more laser focused. So, as far as where you're starting, you have options. You can choose two texts from class if you want. Hey, you give, Frankenstein, Ozymandias, any of the Fresh Prince, the Tupac songs. Everything's linked on the last page of this document. Or, and what might be a more interesting paper for most of you to write, is to choose one text from class and then one work of any kind of media. I've listed some here, but there's more. Literally any kind of media. And then you are going to choose a critical concept which interests you, okay, that you can relate the two texts together and analyze through, like feminism or race or literary analysis of any kind, thematic connections between two works, trauma, right? That was something we've talked a lot about with our different texts. Okay. The concept that you choose, that's the research. So that's where you're going to be looking for some credible sources that can define that concept in order to give you the ability to then look at your chosen works through that definition. The whole thing will be due before 11:59 p.m. on April 14th. You may work alone, you may work with one partner. If you would like to work with someone who is not in your period, that's fine as long as they are in another one of my periods. So if you have a friend in my period 1, period 2, or period 6 AP classes, you're good to go. Yeah, you can work with one of them. As far as the format goes, there's 3 to 4 sources. It's a short paper. So the 3 to 4 comes from the 1 to 2 texts from class or one text from class and one piece of media. So that's 2 sources. And then your 1 to 2 independently researched sources. Okay, so roughly about 4 sources altogether. Everything's going to be in Times New Roman size 12 font. If you don't know how to change the font and the size in Google Docs, there's a link to a YouTube video there showing you how to do so. All right. Okay, nice and easy. We're gonna not watch the Grammarly ad, but you know the drill. Same with double spacing. Double spacing does not mean hitting enter after each line. Use the double spacing function. Again, YouTube video showing you how to do that in Google Docs. It should be 3 to 4 pages of writing plus the works cited page. So we're talking 3 to 4 sources, 3 to 4 pages. That does not include the works cited page. Works cited page is its own page, even though it will be numbered. Okay, so roughly uh, overall, your paper should be 3 pages of writing plus a works cited page, or 4 pages of writing plus a works cited page. Total of 4 to 5 pages. There are many specific requirements for MLA format, starting with the header itself. Okay, and again, there are very specific ways how to format that header. There's a video that shows you how to do that, though it is mostly done for you here in the template that's also attached. Okay, so you could just double click up here and change this to your last name and you're good to go. Right? Add your name here. But you should know how to do this. You should know how to write a line. So you should know how to do the page number function. It's all here in this video. Heading, like I said, it's already formatted for you. It should have this specific information. Just fill in what is missing from the template. And then finally, you should have quotes with in-text citations. And they must all match with your works cited page citations. So in other words, if you are quoting or referencing something in your paper that is not also on the works cited, then you are not actually in MLA format. Now, this next part, again, seems like a lot, but it is just pointers, tips, right? Showing you how to do things. So your quotes, any quotes you choose should be no longer than 3 lines of text. Anything beyond 3 lines of text requires a block quote. We are not doing block quotes in this paper because it is a short paper. If you are directly quoting from a book, right, from one of our works from class, all the information you need here on how to do that is typed out for you, along with 2 ways that you could be correctly citing within the text of your writing. All right, you use the quote and then put the MLA formatted citation with it, or introduce the quote with the author's last name, and you put a different type of MLA formatted citation since you have already cited the author within the same line. It's also a little information here on how to paraphrase. Okay, so if you don't want to quote directly, but just sort of describe something, again, format is there for you. I've also added in instructions on how to quote from different forms of media if that is the route you are choosing. So how to directly quote and paraphrase from a song. Notice song titles are a little bit different, right? Song titles go into quotation marks themselves, so pay attention to this. How to directly quote or paraphrase from an episode of television. Okay, like here we are quoting Mistaken Identity, which is a Fresh Prince episode. Here we're paraphrasing. How to directly quote an online article. Same with paraphrasing an online article. Okay. YouTube video, direct and paraphrase. And then finally, some information about the formatting of the works cited page. Okay. So I've mostly given it to you. On the template, I have put every single major work that we have studied in class in the correct MLA works cited page format. You will just delete whatever you don't use. So let's say you just use Frankenstein. Frankenstein. Okay, so you're just going to delete everything else, right? And then whatever your other sources are, you'll have to make here. Citations that are longer than 1 line of text must have hanging indentations. So I'm talking about this citation for Frankenstein, as well as this citation for Ozymandias, and all these Fresh Prince ones. See, they have more than 1 line of text, so anything after the first line becomes a hanging indentation. There's a YouTube video here showing you how to do that. They have to be alphabetically organized by the first word of the citation. Okay, notice, right? D, M, P, S, H, A, S, H, E, right? T. Okay, so just alphabetized. Anything that you are independently researching, I gave you a general format for a works cited page which is right here. Okay, creator's last name, comma, creator's first name, period, quote, article title, period, quote, italicized name of the website, comma, day, month, year that it was published, and then the full URL. However, there is an easier way to do this if you use the citation machine. To show you an example, I made a citation for this article that I linked here, okay, right there, using this format. And obviously you would then have to put it into your Works Cited page in the right spot alphabetically, and then decide whether or not it needs any hanging indentations. Same here for YouTube video, right? Again, just showing you a quick example of how to plug a YouTube video into this citation format. But if you have trouble, citation machine's right here. It is linked, so you can just check it out and use this as your way to make citations. It's pretty handy. Beyond that, there's some more resources here for you. Okay, the main page of the OWL Purdue Writing Lab for MLA format and style guide. So any little questions you might need to research about, how do I format this or write about that, OWL Purdue will have all that information for you. Of course, you can talk to me, but I may not be here for a little bit, so I want to make sure that you have the resources. And then I've also linked all of our texts, so you can get to the full PDF of The Hate You Give, of Ozymandias, and of Frankenstein. There's also links to YouTube videos for the 3 Tupac songs that we studied in class, and for the 6 Fresh Prince episodes. Then all the way at the bottom is basic grading checklist, broken down into basically 4 categories: MLA format, research, analysis, and application, writing, and then the MLA Works Cited page. So for MLA format, essentially it's that everything is in MLA format. You could read through it for the specifics, worth up to 25 points. Research, analysis, and application. So this is that you have done the research, that you are showing that you're using quotations and paraphrased evidence from all of your works, and that your quotes from your research support whatever your main point is. There's a history of trauma in this show and this book, right? Say that's your main idea. Then all of your quotes, all of your writing, all of the examples should be supporting that main idea. When it comes to writing, content length, grammar, and organization. Okay, so the paper stays on topic, right? Doesn't do plot summary. Paper is 3 to 4 pages long, right? So 3 to 4 pages of writing plus 1 MLA Works Cited page. Fixing that on the fly. Grammar and spelling, right? No errors. Got a month to write the paper. It's a graduation requirement. This is college prep. Make it as perfect as possible. There is no such thing as pure perfection, as I just proved, right? But do your best. And then organization, right? So this is about structure and how the paper is actually put together. You're not varying from font type, every new paragraph is with an indent, right? It makes sense the way it's broken up. And then finally, your Works Cited page does have 3 to 4 citations, 2 texts from class, or 1 text from class and 1 piece of media, plus 1 to 2 independently researched sources. And then it's all exactly according to the MLA rules. Now I said here, 10 points coming off for every day that it is late. Don't fall into this category, please. Make sure that it's on time. Late in this case would be in spring break, during spring break. So definitely have this done and no longer over your head during spring break. Okay, so hopefully that helps you. It's exactly what I would have done in class, but hopefully shorter.
Hippity poppy, give me the zobbity.
Yes, sir.
Great Scott!